Hello. So I just thought I'd take a minute today. It's a beautiful Saturday, my gosh, to talk about tough decisions, making tough decisions. When tough decisions appear in our lives, what to do? What do we, you know? And I mean, we all face tough decisions, don't we? Oh my gosh! And there's the dilemma. Uh, so many factors sometimes in a big decision in our life, and I have friends that are involved in big decisions sometimes around their health. I a lady friend who has and maybe doesn't have all the information, and so it's hard to make a decision without all the information. But here's the thing, we're talking about a lot about being present and being in the moment, and when we have a life changing decision to make, what seems like a biggie, you know, how do we stay present? What's the protocol for being in the moment? And so one of the things, and not that I'm a master in this area, but I've given it some thought, and I'm also in a some decision making time in my life this year for sure, big time, lots of things. And one of the things that has come up for me in my experience is to take it easy. Lots of times we think that the decision has to be made now, and so I think that to relax, not take it too seriously, and sleep on things, just pray, meditate on things, talk to our friends, talk to our advisors. Those, just kind of feel around it a bit, is good, because often a decision seems like a big decision because of fear, and we're afraid to make the wrong decision. We're afraid to, if I do this, how do I look? We're afraid that we won't get it right in some way, and it's going to affect folks around us. And so there's a lot of factors often in our, if we have people in our lives in our decision making, and often if I go to sleep at night and I say a little prayer about something that's up for me, the right answer, whatever the answer needs to be, will show up in the morning. And it's not always the answer I want. It's not always like, oh yes, great, sure, you bet, I'm going to fly to Europe. It's sometimes, okay, I have to make that phone call. I have to face that creditor. I have to, talk to my ex. Those kind of things, and sometimes the decision isn't really the easy one. Often the decision's the tough one. I'd love to hear from you about what are some of the decisions that you're facing, and I mean, that's, I think, to bring consciousness to the what's going on around the decision. I'll tell you one that's happening for me, if you don't mind. I I closed my business this year, the Bali business I had, and and it lots of turmoil around that for me. It was not easy. It was oh my gosh, some of the, I beat myself up. I should have done this 3 years ago, kind of thing, and in the fight to save it over the years through this economy, I had borrowed money to get more product and change my direction and follow, what seemed like the right thing with the meditation stools and the meditation stuff, and anyway, the still didn't wasn't able to keep up with the bills and keep up with the overhead, and so I had to close it, and so part of what I see in that, the lesson in that, is that I kind of knew that several years ago. I kind of knew that several years ago, and I hung on. And was that pride? Was it fear? Was it, wanting to look good? I mean, there was a lot of things around me hanging on for those extra few years, when really friends had told me, and my accountant had told me, and that it wasn't working. But I was kind of deluded. So we all have 20/20 hindsight, right? But so that was a decision, and maybe the right decision, the wrong decision, doesn't matter now, but when I look back on it, what's the lesson for me? The lesson was that I wasn't really listening. I wasn't listening. I was caught up in what I wanted, and what I wanted was for this thing to continue, to be able to pay everybody back, to be able to, have, a successful store again. And so, big decision. And maybe I could have made a different one. And now I'm faced with other decisions. So, around debt and those kind of things. So, love to hear about your decisions and how do you make them, my comment, my advice, of course, is to relax. It doesn't matter how big it seems. A day or two isn't going to make a difference, and kind of melt into it a bit, feel it, talk to people about it. Yeah, you have friends, talk to them. Say, I called a fellow this morning and said, can we talk a bit about, because I have some things to look after. So, tough decisions. How do we make them and stay present? How do we make them and, stay in a kind of a loving state? And, being in a loving state doesn't mean that we don't have to do things. We don't have to, years ago I was out at Mount St. Francis, the retreat. I used to go out there to silent retreats, and there was a painting on the wall, and it was a man in a boat, a small sailboat, and the sail was hanging limp. And the caption said, "If the wind don't blow, row." If the wind don't blow, row. So, often we've got to get our oars in the water and get moving. In any direction is a direction, and then we know once we start moving if this is the right direction, and or we make it the right direction. Make a decision, make it right, and oh wow, who was that said that? That was Zig Ziglar years ago. he said leaders make decisions and they make them right. They don't make the right decisions. They make decisions and they make them right. Wow. Thank you. I needed that. I just, that was a good piece for me just now. That was years ago. Probably most of you have never heard of Zig Ziglar, but Ziggy said that leaders make decisions and they make them right. He said they don't necessarily make the right decisions, but the decisions they make them right. And so, tough decisions. I know we have them, and I think the trick is to be grateful for them. We learn from them. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for dropping in. So if you have this tough decisions, make a note of them. And, the other thing I want to chat with you about, just mention, I'm going to try to mention it every time I do one of these videos going forward, is that, how my decision on, the practical side of things, I want to work with people. I'm going to work with people. I have, 40, 50 years of experience in the realm of life, of being a student of life, of looking at life as a continuing education. And so I have some wisdom, they tell me. And so I'm not sure exactly how to monetize it, but I'm going to do one-on-one sessions if people want to come, and I'll listen. And if something comes up, I'll share it. And if it's of any help, that would be good. And I'd like some, feedback on that if you think that that's a good route for me to take. But that seems to be it. And I'm going to put it out there. So if you want that, we can do that on Skype as well. And it really is just from my personal experience, from my intuition, from that I'm going to be available to people on a regular basis. And Monday night, by the way, coming up this week will be our fourth night at the Knox, no, not the Knox, the Scarborough United Church on in Scarborough, 7 o'clock. Come for, it's a chat on consciousness, on being present, on awareness, and in meditation. We do a meditation there, and really good group meditation. It's great. So that's Monday night. And if you're in town, we have a little potluck tomorrow at the house. You're welcome to come. Just bring something for the table between 3 and 8 o'clock tomorrow. I'd love to have you, come and visit us. That's on Sunday. I know it's Grey Cup Day, but this is not a Grey Cup party. And we may have the TV on, but it's not, really about that tomorrow. It's about community and social. So everybody's invited. And let me know if you're coming. Okay, love you lots. And big decisions. How do we make tough decisions? All right, that was my thought for the day. Love you.